All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's roll.
Welcome to the Scenic Solidarities Podcast, number one. Our first ever podcast for the IASPM-SEA, that is the International Association for the Study of Popular Music, Southeast Asia branch. I can't believe I just said that.
Represent.
We are actually both co-hosts. My name is Adil Johan, and I'm here with Azmyl Yunor.
Hello.
Because you know who Azmyl is.
Yeah, you know me.
All right, Azmyl, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Oh, wow. That's a bit deep. I'm a singer-songwriter. I play music, but I'm also academic. But I don't teach music, but my research is in popular music studies. My background's in film and journalism, so I'm kind of interdisciplinary by default. Yeah.
Nice. I like that word, interdisciplinary. I think I heard it's quite a popular word these days.
It's a buzzword, I tell you that much. Yeah, I bandy that like a card up my sleeve right now. So, yeah.
Inter.
So inter.
What is it that's inter about your work?
Wow. It just means that I can't put my finger on things. One thing. I want everything. That's it. I think that's what inter means. I just want everything.
You want to do everything?
I want to do everything.
So,
don't we all?
So you wanna write? You want to...
Oh, I still want to gig. I want to tour. I want to sing. I want to do stuff. I want to record albums. But, time is finite, right? So I think that's why we need to compartmentalize it into these things that we call interdisciplinary. I suppose so.
So we have to compartmentalize the interconnections of all the different disciplines and things that we do.
For better or worse, no choice. Yeah, seems to be that path. As I grew older, I realized that time is finite and there's only so much. I wish there was like 50 hours a day, not 24, man. It's not enough. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
time is finite, and that's very painful.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you do as a musician and an artist.
Well, I started off indulging stuff I like early on. I played in experimental punk bands, but I started off being a busker as a student in this really boring town in Australia called Perth, Australia. That's where I did my undergrad. I got into busking. I had a band back home in college, so I was a bit depressed when I had the opportunity to study in Perth. So, but then I could get a part-time job. So one day I'm walking in town and I saw some buskers and I thought, hey, I can do better than these guys. So then I just applied for it, and that was my music school. I learned everything about performing, about being in public, and safety, how to put on, the jester or the whatever you call it, being a street musician. And I came back. I was still recording. I was writing songs, just putting on cassette. And my friends back home got into the punk scene because that's the only friendliest scene that accepts all us weirdos out there. So that's when things started. The ball started rolling. I just gave my cassette back and came back to Malaysia, finished, started gigging, and that solo acoustic thing became a default because it was easier. I didn't have to jam.
Right.
I didn't have to split the gig money. That's a plus.
No band politics.
But yeah, so I became known as a singer-songwriter, which I did not know. It was never ambition to be a singer-songwriter. It's just by default.
That's right.
Yeah, so you do what you got to do. But of course, when I came back, I still got a band together, several bands, and I carried on. So this was early 2000s. It was exciting time because we didn't have any infrastructure, no real kind of like scene,
Right.
So it was fun. You had to learn how to organize gigs and stuff. So I became a gig organizer too. So yeah.
And I guess because you were also a singer-songwriter, we could also consider you very much a writer, right?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah. I mean, I joke with friends who are from the literary scene, like, hey, you guys do your literary events. Why you never invite singer-songwriters, man? We write. Why, jealous, is it? Because we can sing. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's another thing about, maybe that's my blues about Malaysia, is that everything is so neatly categorized. That when you're inter, people don't know how to deal with you.
Yeah.
You know? So, and they just block you out instead of trying to understand you. So, I think that's why I stuck to this line, being in higher education, academic, because now I can spread the seeds to the younger generation and change their minds. You know, you can't change everyone's minds.
That's right.
So, yeah, classroom is enough lah, hopefully.
You know, that's really interesting that you mentioned these kind of segregations that we're experiencing, these little silos, right? Within the disciplines that we are involved in. I can imagine we're both Malaysian, so that's kind of a perspective that we're hoping to bring to this program or to this podcast as well, is that Malaysia and a lot of states in Southeast Asia are also very much defined by ethnic divisions or different racial groupings, and but then that also manifests somehow in our academia, in the work that we do as academics, in the disciplines that we're divided by in our institutions, but also in the music that we both perform and that we also listen to and that we both are interested in our research. And you see these divisions kind of manifest in so many ways. And I was just thinking about how much, at least speaking as an academic in music and in cultural studies, I guess, that's already kind of like a ghetto in Malaysia. Being in like a music program in Malaysia also feels like most of the music programs here are really classical music dominated. And there's very little space for disciplinary interaction, but at no fault of my colleagues, but it's probably because they didn't get that exposure or training.
Yeah, it's a feel too. The feel is very it does silo you. Yeah,
but we're in this. At least we're representing the epistemological community of popular music studies, and somehow trying to find a way to make sense of that within the context of Southeast Asia. But then in our own experiences navigating through this organization, the IASPM, or the International Association for the Study of Popular Music, we've also experienced some very interesting things. Remember that first conference we went to, Azmyl, in Canberra? This was the IASPM biennial in 2019, just a year before COVID. What kind of experiences do you remember from that speak to this issue?
I think that the most obvious thing to me was the fact that even though it's an international association, it's very Western centric. I think we were the minority from Southeast Asia. That's for one, but it is very Western centric. But I think it's where the chapters are very important.
Yes.
I think we started out with Southeast Asia, the branches, right? But it's fine. I have no grouses. I mean, it started in the West, fine. But I think if something that's calls itself international, like Americans, you call your Super Bowl international, World Series when it's just America.
And maybe Japan.
And Japan too. I think that's sort of, worldview, or the words, the terms we use, I think, needs to live up to it. And I think that was eye-opening. It was great. I think for me, Australia is an interesting place because I spent big time there. You spent some time there. Australia is this kind of like, well, Malaysians love London more. They love UK. So Australia, you're a bit more cowboy lah. So I think you got more street cred. I think it's a rougher place. Spiders can kill you there.
And the rough streets of
Canberra. Rough streets of Canberra. Yeah. Putrajaya was Australia, But it was interesting. I think it was eye-opening, really. It really, I think, unfolded the kind of like suspicions I had about the field of popular music studies and the range of criticality, I suppose. There was, I saw some papers that were completely not critical. Some was very critical. But I liked the Q&A. I think that was important. The fact that one thing I appreciate, I think, about kind of the Western perspective is that there can be critical. People will question you in your face, and I think maybe in Southeast Asia we're a bit polite, but I think finding the middle ground was important. But yeah, it was a great trip because I think what we had, I think the Southeast Asian team, like we had gangs from different parts of Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
We had people also from kind of interdisciplinary fields. I had my colleague, I teach in a film program, and she joined us. Hasdin joined us. We had late Frank from
late Frank Ong.
Yes, from Cats. You know, he was a colleague of mine, and it was a good team. Man, we had some friends from Europe joined us. You know, into the team, and I think we partied hard, pretty hard. And the party was a discourse.
It was a discourse party.
It was a discourse party. It was serious, folks. Okay, serious work. All right,
a party of dialogues.
Party of dialogues
and connections.
Yeah. So that was actually a very, very good trip.
Just for our listeners, the Canberra conference was a very interesting kind of culmination of the IASPM Southeast Asia branch. At that time, it was chaired by our founding chair, Isabella Peck, who actually, with many thanks to IASPM, the mother, the HQ IASPM, actually allocated us our very our emerging branch with funds, actually, with a nice stipend to support Southeast Asian members of the branch to come to Canberra. So what was great about that is that we were able to actually get, for Southeast Asians, Australia isn't cheap. So it afforded us actually a chance to actually rent a place that could kind of provide a accommodation for those who needed assistance with that. And we ended up kind of having an informal kind of Southeast Asian house in the midst of the conference in ANU. And of course, your Airbnb thing, but it was this really nice, like really strong sense of community that we managed to forge while we were there. I'm not sure how many Southeast Asians actually have attended an IASPM biennial prior to 2019. I'm sure you probably have, a sprinkle of a few, but that was definitely my first time. And I'm very proud of the fact that was probably the largest contingent of scholars of popular music and related areas representing in a conference, who at the time was actually organized by Samantha Bennett, who is now the chair of IASPM. So shout out to Samantha.
Shout out
for organizing a great conference for us.
Yeah, it was a great time, man. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like a watershed moment for us. And I mean, I'm talking about it like we're some like huge branch. Actually, no, we're a small ragtag group of like impoverished Southeast Asian scholars, impoverished intellectually, probably.
Indeed.
And coming from our modest institutions, but with a real like passion for wanting to advance the study of popular music in our home countries and also in the region, and to forge these kind of connections across borders as well. And I think we definitely were very successful in that. We managed to form a sense of community within that space. We made connections with people outside of Southeast Asia that were really happy to hang out with us, and who continue to hang out with us. It was a great starting point. So that was Canberra. It was good times. We're going to take a little break in our segment right now for our podcast, as they do, maybe for some music, and we'll come back soon.
All right.
So we're back. You might probably hear some noises of children in the background, but I guess we can't deny that we're both also dads and also juggling, we're
keeping it real.
We're keeping it real, It's just let the kids have fun while the grown-ups have fun as well.
Yeah, this is not a lifeless studio. This is at home, Right.
And I just wanted to talk a little bit. I guess this is a great opportunity to really just talk about the branch, especially for our friends who might be tuning in, who who want to know about us. And I hope you do.
Yeah,
I hope you come. If you're a member of IASPM, please come to our conferences in Southeast Asia. and get to know us. We're very friendly and hospitable.
And get your tropical getaway, man. Come by here.
Exactly. And maybe we could talk about popular music or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we do, right?
Yeah. And ringgit is weak now. I know money goes a long way if you.
Bring your US dollars and your Aussie dollars and your Hong Kong dollar. I mean, bring it all. Bring those currencies into Southeast Asia.
We'll show you around, folks. Yeah.
Show me the money, right?
Yeah. Indeed.
So, IASPM Southeast Asia, Azmyl, started in 2019.
That was the first one, right? In January.
January 2019. And our founding chair, Isabella Peck, had this amazing idea to just get this branch going because she saw this gap in the organization and she had the network to put it together.
Yep.
And we had our first conference in January 2019 in a place called Think City, which is actually a heritage building in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
And it was attended by, I think, like 30 presenters.
Yeah.
Nice, small, modest. It was really fun.
First time meeting all that gang, and we're all still in touch, and we're part of the whole crew now. Yeah,
exactly.
First gang. Yeah,
we're definitely a crew. We crewed up there.
Yeah.
And then what happened was immediately after that was the annual conference, the biannual conference in Canberra in 2019, and Isabella very kindly found a way to get the funding from IASPM International. To support the presentations, the attendance of us Southeast Asian branch members at the conference. And then immediately after that, in I think it was February 2020, we had our second annual conference in Manila, organized by Lara Mendoza and Krina Kayap, who are now also our Execom Executive Committee branch members. And that was a really fun conference. It was nice and small, 30 of us. Azmyl and I shared a room on campus in the University Ateneo de Manila University.
Beautiful campus. Yeah.
Beautiful campus. I think it's a Jesuit campus, I believe.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, I mean, what are your memories of us forming as a branch?
Oh, I think it was exciting. I mean, I was late to the party. I mean, we had the first one, and I just attended as a attendee.
You played.
We played a set. We played a set. But you could feel, I think, the so-called solidarity just emanate throughout, because I think it was a very short period, right? It was, how many days were that? And one of the nights we brought them to Medekaria, right, for the gig, and they hung out, and they got a feel, I think, about, again, I don't know to what degree they had known about Malaysia, because Malaysia tends to be often kind of off the map. Yeah. We're that piece of land that the big artist goes to Singapore and fly over to go to Bangkok.
Or the plane that disappeared.
Oh yeah, and that too. So it's always, I think as a Malaysian, it's always, I always feel excited to host them, to bring them around. So that was definitely. The first memory was really sweet. And of course, the second one in Manila was amazing. But I had the first taste of the Manila gridlock. I had an ex-student who was supposed to pick me up at the airport, but I realized the airport didn't have Wi-Fi. And I thought the coffee shop would have one. I was almost bought a coffee and I asked for the Wi-Fi password and said we don't have Wi-Fi. So I missed it. I took a bus at 6 p.m. and it took me 3 hours to get to Quezon City. So I had the experience. That was actually quite important experience. I got to experience the traditional Manila gridlock.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is this was actually a few weeks before the international COVID lockdowns.
Yes.
And there was already, I think the outbreak had already happened in Wuhan.
Yeah.
I remember it was just after Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
The conference, and there was already kind of like there was some awareness of the virus spreading, and I remember you were in a bus, right?
Yeah.
I think I took a bus as well.
I wore a mask in the flight. I got it. It was those one with the blue and the white sides.
Yeah,
I wore it upside down. I didn't even know.
Right.
I mean, this was pre-COVID, right?
You gotta put the color side on the outside to
So I got it wrong.
But
the whole
yours
time.
was on the inside. Yeah. See, at least you were contained. But I remember sitting in the bus. I think I was in a bus just after you, or just
you arrived.
later.
Your flight was later, but you arrived earlier than me. I think primarily because I wasted 2.5 hours just waiting around.
We arrived near Ateneo.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
A bit earlier, and I remember like there was somebody in my bus that was like coughing and sneezing profusely. And then, but we're fine. We were safe.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I remember getting out of the bus. And I was thinking, I need Wi-Fi right now, and I didn't know where to go. And I saw Starbucks, and I went to Starbucks. Again, I made a big mistake. I ordered a coffee first, then I asked for the Wi-Fi password, and then I realized that they don't have Wi-Fi too. So I asked these two girls who were sitting at the table next to me. It's like, I need, and then one of them just hit up to me. He's like, "Oh, all right, cool. Can you hotspot me? All right, yeah, anytime."
That's a great pickup line, Azmyl. Can you hotspot me?
Yeah, can you hotspot me? So they did, and I got a grab. I wish, Anyway, I had a coffee that I didn't drink that night. I wanted to sleep. So, but it was an adventure. It was definitely. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things I think about this whole being academic in the field. I think it's about going down, and I think the powers that be. I think it's very important that there's this crossing borders, going places, networking. It's got to be physical. It can't be just virtual, and that's kind of changed, right? Post pandemic. Yeah. So
connecting past your comfort zone as well into a new area. Yeah. I love the story of getting help, from someone at Starbucks, and I think that's a scenic solidarity moment right there.
Yeah.
Scenic solidarity moment. It's also like, I mean, Malaysians relative to other Southeast Asians, like at least the Malaysian middle class, like we're quite spoiled, here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of unknown, but we're also quite privileged in many ways compared to a lot of our counterparts.
Yep.
Those of us who, of course, occupy the middle class and above, and I guess we can't deny that.
Yeah, that's one of my grousers actually from the Malaysian music scene. Yeah, but anyway,
it's too middle class.
Yeah,
the music scene.
Yeah.
So there's not much room for expansion, and it doesn't speak to the people, as it were, so much. It's kind of like an insulated thing. I mean, and that's kind of like speaking from Malaysia in terms of popular music. Like one of the other grousers that I have, that I was a part of, is a lot of middle class Malaysians who listen to popular music. We listen to English language popular music, to the point that if you're urban, middle and upper middle class, you tend to actually look down on locally made music or music in local languages.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think you and I are a bit of a product of that, but we found a way to kind of connect back to it after.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting point because, like, I think the mid-90s when I was in college, just when this Malaysian band called OAG, they kind of broke through, and they were singing in English, and it was a norm. It was a default language you play. In fact, we used to joke that it's actually a badge of honor when people think, "Oh, I thought you were American band." It's like, no, Malaysian bands. Yeah, but I think that started to change. I think late 90s and early 2000s. Then people started writing in Malay, and I think it was a very important thing, and that's when I found my voice too. I started writing in English too. We listen to music, English, bands and American bands, but it's a default, and that's why people always say when we go travel abroad, right? People always say, "Hey, your English is really good."
Oh,
yeah.
Love getting that.
Yeah, I love saying that. Colonized by you, but once I told that to Canadians,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. For once, a rude Canadian. Shout out to all my Canadian friends. That's interesting also about the colonized mind. I think a lot of our listeners from outside of Southeast Asia, or maybe even within Asia and Southeast Asia, would be surprised to know that Azmyl and I, we actually communicate in English.
Yeah.
On a personal level, and even within our own families.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting when I'm communicating with international friends. Like sometimes it'd be a Zoom call, and then my wife or my kid will walk in, and I'll talk to them in English, and they get surprised. Oh, you talk to your family in English? I mean, yeah, we do. We were colonized. Malaysia was very much a successful byproduct of the British Empire. And here we are, speak English and hopefully also translating all these differences to you our audience, our international audience. But yeah, I mean, I think also reflecting on that is the colonized mind of Malaysians, also at the same time actively trying to decolonize our work by focusing on the local.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also I think recognizing that a lot of the theory on decolonization comes from Western academy.
Yep.
Although that also comes from, of course, non-white writers as well. Like, I mean, I guess we have to be grounded in like Frantz Fanon and works of academics of people of color. That's really weird for me to say. Like in the Western academy, like like people say people of color for those who are not white. So I guess maybe we need to change that. But because when you're speaking from Malaysia, right? I mean, everybody has color, man. Like we all got color,
Yeah.
You know, we all got some kind of color, right?
We were the spectrum before you guys started using that term, man. Yeah. The British gonna handle it. I mean, our whole definition of like Malay, Chinese, Indian, and others, that was a British byproduct, right?
Yeah.
The original census form was just a grocery list of ethnic groups.
Different people. It was a party. It was a party of ethnicities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And then they found a way to, as they do, you know, simplify and classify and categorize people. And now you have Malaysia. And now you have Malaysians who much rather listen to English language music than music from local languages.
The radio stations are also not so friendly here. They don't play the local content.
Yeah, isn't that messed up? Like, so in Malaysia, so we have Hits FM, which is the hit station, and this is like one of the most popular stations in the Malaysian airwaves. Entirely English pop music.
Yeah.
Top 40 chart music.
Yeah. This has been 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like even back then in the early 2000s, we've been pushing for this, but the stations just never budged. But instead, you have segments, special shows just for local music. It should be flipped around. You know? So I think our media industries have failed the scene. Sorry to say, because of that. You know, I mean, like there are sportive channels. I mean, the only independent radio station in Malaysia is BFM. And, you know, they play local music after midnight.
And it's an English language station.
It's an English language station.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like, a bulk of my songs get played after midnight. 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. But they don't have a DJ then.
Yeah.
So they just play local stuff. And it's got to be in Malay. That's part of the...
It's to fulfill the media requirement.
Yeah,
There's
a media
quota
requirement.
system.
Quota system. So, yeah, there you go. That's Malaysia for you.
So we're quite familiar with a quota system here in Malaysia as well. I mean, in Malaysia, we have a very ethnicized kind of political structure. Some people would call it a race-based kind of political system where a certain ethnic group is prioritized over others in a lot of areas. But others would also call it an affirmative action kind of structure. But yeah, that's a whole podcast, right? Talking about Malaysia and Malay ethnicity.
A whole season probably, yeah.
That's a whole season of that. We got to start another one. But yeah, hey, look it up. Look up Malaysia once in a while, yeah? And look beyond MH370 maybe. Yeah. We've got some interesting things going on here in Malaysia. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back to the next segment of our show. All right, guys, we're back. Scenic Solidarities podcast. You're here with me. Yeah, say that again, Azmyl.
Scenic Solidarities.
There we go. That's going to be our stinger. You're here with me, Adil Johan, and Azmyl Yunor. And you'll be listening to us, hopefully, for quite a long time. I just want to end this podcast with some reflections on maybe what we've been talking about and maybe about what we'll be doing. Azmyl, any reflections that you have on where we're going to go, where we've been?
Wow. It's at the moment, I think my keen reflection is challenging narratives, I suppose. Industry narratives. This is something I've been dealing the last 5 years since I released my recent album. I've been going around doing performance lectures recently. Was in Taiwan. Shout out to Taiwan gang. All of y'all there. DJ, Eva, and gang. Anyway, I think that in Malaysia, at least, the context is always challenging certain narratives top down. But I think my one thing I find very fascinating now, I think to reflect on is essentially this crossing over that doesn't happen enough, I think, in Southeast Asia. And that's one of the many things that in my performance lectures I was talking about. I think the fact that this region is very diverse, right? You travel out 2-3 hours is different language, so I think that crossover needs to happen more, and that's I think I'm doing both worlds as a musician, as a touring musician, a recording musician, and also as academic. I'm trying to break down those supposed borders that we have, of course. But the thing, I think we're dealing with very different sort of landscapes, cultural and landscapes in Southeast Asia. It's so diverse, right? I mean, in the sense that you could do a performance lecture in one country, but you need to change it when you go to another. But that's why I think like IASPM Southeast Asia is very important. Is we've already built that rapport between each other, and I think in a way we're also outsiders in the larger picture of things. You have the old timers who have established. So I think it's exciting then to reflect the last maybe how many years has it been? 5-6 years since we first started rolling. But I think it goes earlier than that, right? We started going to culture studies, media studies conferences, meeting people from different fields, and I think that's where. If there's any takeaway, I think what I always find interesting is that in popular music studies, the perspectives are often diverse, primarily because most people are doing it out of interest. It's not their field of what they teach. Like I teach in a film program, but I'm a musician, and I can be placed too. And you got people who are political scientists writing about music, and I think all these things that challenges, I think, the kind of like maybe the more musicological kind of perspective. I think that's important, and it's not about opposing. I think it's about building that solidarity too with the as somebody who's outsider, looking in, like I think our voices who might not be musically trained is also important, because hell, isn't that what music appeals to people who do not learn music? That's popular music, and I think that's the road ahead. I think that I'm really excited to kind of to look at with the team. Yeah,
I think that's a really excellent reflection, Azmyl, because it ties in together so much about connections that we're making, and which is at the crux of what we're trying to promote here in terms of solidarity. Also, I think you've also hit the nail on the point, like, that the study of popular music is intrinsically interdisciplinary anyways, right? Like, you can't just, of course they're purists, but when you think about popular music, you're already entering fields of popular culture, as well as the variegated field of music studies, right? And that raises so many issues. So it's lovely to be in. I mean, I think that's why we're doing it. It's something that really drives our work. I wanted to share also with the listeners what the C in Scenic stands for also in this program. Now, the whole idea of the branch was to actually, even though it is very much structured around representation of an area, it is also, I mean, what we're trying to envision in this branch also is this whole idea of SEA, not just Southeast Asia as is very kind of rigid, international studies created area studies thing, which actually coincidentally was created during the Cold War. It's kind of like an imperialist project to area, right? Through areas, to study areas. But we're trying to reclaim that as South-East-Asia. To think about the connections that include both South and East Asia. Because I always think about at least Malaysia or Southeast Asian countries in Southeast Asian countries as a kind of point of confluence or convergence between all these seemingly disparate Asian cultures and histories. We've got colonial histories that bind us, that connect us also. That's where solidarities can be formed. We've definitely got more recent histories of media circulation and of course musical circulation. We've got all kinds of it's a linguistic jumble, like it's a babble. I mean, like, it's its own kind of babble, right? Of Southeast Asian languages that go way back past the Western colonial era. And I think how do we then translate that to studying music of the now and culture of the present day? And I think hopefully these are the kind of solidarities that we want to forge. I think just beyond just the musical connections, but also and beyond just the Asian countries that we're linking up with. For example, like Azmyl, you mentioned our friends in Taiwan, and we've got a really supportive group of people and students who are really loving the branch, because Taiwan also kind of sits in this space outside of China and other parts of Asia, and a lot of our colleagues and friends in Taiwan really feel a sense of solidarity with this branch and with the study of music in Southeast Asia. Like Azmyl and I were both recently in Taipei for separate occasions. Shout out to GIM, the Graduate Institute of Music at the National Taiwan University, and shout out to DJ Hatfield, who we will probably be having as a guest soon. But we experienced a lot of connections because I was exposed a lot to the indigenous groups. I mean, at least to the study of indigenous groups, which is what DJ does, and to see those connections across islands, across the Taiwan Islands and the islands in the Nusantara or in the maritime Southeast Asian region. There's a lot to talk about. I'm probably rambling, Azmyl. Please stop me. But there's a lot to talk about. So I guess I want to say, we've got so much more. This is just the beginning. We're going to be having a lot of guests over, primarily the members of this branch. We will really want to feature the work that they do. And I hope that you tune in to the podcast and download it and listen to it and make it a part of your weekly drive somewhere, I don't know.
Or commute, or whatever.
Your weekly commute, however you're commuting. I'm so Malaysian-centric, I'm just thinking about my car, so sorry about that. Azmyl, what do you think? What do you look forward to for this podcast?
Well, I'm just looking forward to the conversations. I think, it's just diverse. I think we've got a list of guests that we have, and they're part of the branch, but also very diverse backgrounds and again, just to kind of like link how whenever we met them for the first time, it's like as if we've known each other for a while. It's like meeting an old friend. So I think that's what usually when you meet somebody for the first time, if that's the sense, then I think you're one foot in that solidarity already. So looking forward to that. The conversations we're going to have throughout this. So please tune in. This is a bit different from those other podcasts.
All right. With that, I think we'll sign out. I'm Adil Johan.
I'm Azmyl Yunor.
And we'll hear you soon.
See you soon.